When it comes to anti-terrorism, sometimes the best approach is proactivity and not reactivity, which means to stop terrorism before it happens. In order to do that, you want to set up a system and bottom line that is tailored to handle these situations on command whenever they begin to arise. This is the way to go, especially when you come to the conclusion that terrorism is going to happen no matter what you do. Now, when it comes to counterterrorism, most of the organizations of the world are limited to domestic boundaries. In today's anime, Suna no Bara, Desert Rose, or the Snow Apocalypse, there are civilian-focused anti-terrorism groups that can be discharged to anywhere in the world. In this anime, we follow the epic of an all-female counter-terrorist agent group named CAT, and believe you me, a job well done across the board on this diamond in the dirt production. There's a little of everything here: politics, action, interpersonal issues. And I discovered that the writing was far from lazy, and I even learned a few things along the way. A good example was in the beginning of the OVA when one older agent was disarming a bomb, and she starts actually explaining the science and technology of the electronics, well, more so the physical and technical attributes, and what triggers and untriggers the bomb from exploding to a subordinate who clearly was new, a trainee. That last few moments before cutting the red wire gave me anxiety, and from that point forward, I was hooked. The main plotline for this OVA takes place in Switzerland. There's this Geneva conference summit up in the mountains, and the girl's job is to protect some world leaders from expected attempts on their brains being blown out. There's not much depth, of course, from a 44-minute OVA, but this is what it is, and it is the shit. Desert Rose carries a very militant and diligent vibe to it, and though it does relax its energy in moments, an air of seriousness is always looming in the background. I mean, this is serious business the characters are getting into here. Time is taken in the segues between very serious situations to put some emotion into it through character interactions of romance and other very disheartening moments. Even if they were just a bad dream, you may find its approach and perspective on terrorism to not be as realistic to where we are now in life, cause this one is a pre-9/11 story. If you want to look at it as even mattering, you can consider that fact, but I feel as though any terroristic themed production from any time past 9/11 might be slightly different in its approach to depicting terrorism. In this, it seems like a meh kind of thing as far as terrorism being the theme. It represents the nucleus for an action story. Speaking of 9/11, what's eerie about the OVA is that there's actually an airport-based terrorist attack that happens here. I won't spoil it any deeper, but that irony left me pretty shocked. I feel like depending what perspective you come into this with after the opening scene when the girls are doing that first little mission you see, you may be a little disappointed at the fact that this isn't some overhauling action fest with nothing but constant gunfire and explosion with crazy masked men trying to murder politicians. As a matter of fact, majority of the OVA lacks this, and even the summit they go to was fairly calm, and the writer opted to infodump strategy and technical jargon. Not to say that you don't get action, God knows you do. But this experience spends a lot of time in dialogue with characters where they have intellectual conversations, so you need to be okay with that. This one is far from a playful and jokey type of tip. Now, I really love the way these characters are drawn and how the animation and art were done for such a short one-off from the 90s, especially our main protagonist, Rosemarie. Her real name is Mariko, and she's the leader of CAT or whatever, but yeah. There was so much detail put into the characters and the environment created to the point where I couldn't stop looking at the screen and even skip back a few times to re-experience certain shots. I didn't really hear much music throughout the anime, but the ending has this amazing song that plays and I really nodded to that one there. It's more of a punk or a rock, not sure sonically, but I do know I enjoyed it. Based off a 15-volume manga, man. Shame it never got more. Like the video, comment down below what y'all want to see next. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Animebackwhen.